chapter we will study about a girl whose name is Wanda Petrovsky. She is a Polish girl. Polish means because she belongs to Poland. Pole girl. We can say Pole girl. Belongs to Poland country. Poland country we know it is in Europe. Before starting the chapter, we will study the introduction of this chapter. Introduction is given after before you read. Wanda Petrovsky, she was a Polish girl and became a joke. She became a joke in her classroom. Why? Because of the poverty. Because she lived in a Bogins house. That was a very poor area where all the poor people were living. And belongs to Poland, but presently she was living in America, and because the American discriminated the Polish. Polish means the people those were came from Poland. Now the introduction of this chapter. The Polish American community in the United States. The first Polish immigrants arrived in America in 1608. So first time people from the Poland country they came to America in 1608. Immigrants means when you leave your own country and settle in the other country. Like that Wanda, basically she belongs to Poland, but she immigrants with her family in the America. So this immigrants start in 1608. But the largest wave of Polish immigration occurred in the early 20th century. But the large number people came from the other countries in America, that is in the 20th century, when more than 1 million Poles migrated to the United States. So in 20th century, more than 1 million people they came from Poland to America. The Polish state did not exist at that time, and the immigrants were identified according to their country of origin rather than to ethnicity. They were identified as Russian Poles, German Poles, Austrian Poles. Like if they belong to Russia, then Russian Poles, Austria, then Austrian Poles, like that. One of the most notable Polish American communities is in Chicago and its suburbs. So Chicago is sometimes called the second largest Polish city in the world. Why? Because the largest number of people they settle in the Chicago. So Chicago is also known as the second largest Polish city in the world. Next only to Warsaw, the capital of Poland. Polish Americans were sometimes discriminated against in the United States, as were the Irish, Italians and the Jews. According to the United States 2000 census, 6,67,440 Americans of age 5 years and older reported Polish as the language spoken at home. And how this, according to this 2000 census, we clearly can understand that these people, they in their house, they were speaking the Polish language. So at their home, they were speaking the Polish language. Means we can understand that basically they belongs to Poland country, which is about 1.4% of the people who speak languages other than English, or 0.25% of the US population. So we understood that Wanda Petrovsky with her family, they also came to America, and due to their poverty, she was discriminated by her classmates. So now some main points I have written on the blackboard. First of all, I am telling you this. Wanda Petrovsky, she is the main character of this story, is a student of room number 13. This is the room number 13 means this was the number of her class. Room number 13. Then Wanda Petrovsky lived in Bogins Heights. Bogins Heights is a, we can say, slum area. Was not coming to school from Monday, and this was the new thing for the students of the room number 13, that from Monday Wanda Petrovsky was not coming to school. Then next, Peggy and Mary, also the student of asking questions that how many dresses you have, how many pair of shoes you have. They were asking questions to Vanda because Vanda had only one dress. She was coming to school in only single one blue dress. But her dress was very neat and clean because every day she washed her dress. And the last is Miss Masoon. She is the class teacher of room number 13. Miss Masoon is the name of the teacher who was the class teacher of the room number 13. And at the end of this chapter we will study that this teacher announced result of a drawing contest. Recently in that school drawing contest organized. So that day Miss Masoon, the class teacher of room number 13, she will announce the result of that drawing contest. Now I am starting the chapter. With this explanation I will tell you word meanings also. Today Monday, that was the Monday, Vanda Petronsky was not in her seat and she was not because she was absent on Monday. But nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, and they only, Paddy and Maggie both were best friends, and first of all they were starting to make fun on Vanda. Noticed her absence. Even no one has noticed that today Vanda is not present in the classroom. Usually Vanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat. The corner of the room where there was a most scuffling of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and a most mud and dirt on the floor. So she was sitting the second last seat and at the corner, and where all the rough boys we can say, those were disturbing the class. They were sitting there at the last benches and they were not getting good marks also. The corner of the room where that was the most scuffling means when they were dragging their shoes, they were making sound, noisy or dragging movement of the feet on the ground. That is called a scuffling of feet. Most roars, and every time without any other reason these rough boys were laughing in the classroom. When anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor, and the last benches there was a mud and dust also on the floor. Vanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. And nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of smile, but that was all. So in this second paragraph, Vanda did not sit there because she was a rough and noisy. And Vanda didn't like to sit with the rough boys because she was a very sincere girl. She was a very silent. She never speak a word in her classroom. She never laughed also. On the contrary, she was very quiet. She was very calm. She was very peace and rarely said anything. And she was not speaking anything in the classroom. And nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. And she never laughed loudly. Sometimes she twisted her mouth like that. She was smiling only sometime. A crooked sort of smile, but that was all. And this was enough for the Vanda Petronsky. Nobody knew exactly why Vanda sat in that seat. Unless it was because she came all the way from Hawkins Heights and her feet were usually caked and dry mud. But no one really thought much about Vanda Petronsky once she sat in the corner of the room. But only one time she sat in the corner and no one had noticed that why Vanda sat there. Maybe because she belongs to Hawkins Heights. Hawkins Heights is a slum area where all the poor people were living, and she was also belongs to Hawkins Heights. Maybe this is the reason, or maybe her feet were usually caked with a dry mud because she was coming from that slum area, so her feet was also full with the dry mud. But no one really thought much about Vanda Petronsky. But in the room number 13, not any other student was thinking about the Vanda. The time when they thought about Vanda was outside of school hours, at noon time when they were coming back to school, or in the morning early before school began, when groups of 2 or 3 or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the school yard. So generally the students of the room number 13 or the other children also of the school, they were waiting for the She had only one dresses, and when she was coming to school, her feet were full of mud. So this was the reason. But the next day, Tuesday, Vanda was not in the school either, and nobody noticed her absent again. It means on Monday and Tuesday, no one had noticed that a student of our classroom is absent. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Mary, who sat down front with other children who got good marks and who didn't drag in a whole lot of mud. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Mary, actually Peggy is the most popular girl of the room number 30. And actually, she was very kind also. She was a very intelligent girl also. But only why she making the fun, because every time Vanda was replying to Peggy and other students that I have 100 dresses like that. So only she was making fun, but she was a very good girl. She was a very intelligent girl and the most popular girl of the room number 30. Peggy and Mary, who sat down front with other children who got good marks and who didn't drag in a whole lot of mud, and they were not bringing lot of mud in her classroom, did notice that Vanda was not there. But that day on Wednesday, means after 2 days, Peggy and Mary had noticed the absence of Vanda. Peggy was the most popular girl in school. She was she had many pretty clothes and her hair was curly. She had a curly hair. Mary was her closest friend. The reason Peggy and Mary noticed Vanda's absence was because Vanda had made them late to school. And why on Wednesday Peggy and Mary noticed the absence of Vanda? Because on Wednesday both Peggy and Mary, they both were waiting outside of the school campus for the Vanda. Why? Because they wanted to make fun on Vanda Petrovsky, and due to this reason they came to school late. So they have noticed her. They had waited and waited for Vanda to have some fun with her, and she just had not come, and they were waiting. Then also Vanda Petrovsky had not come to school, and due to this reason they often waited for Vanda Petrovsky to have fun with her, and that day they came to school very late. So only they have noticed. Vanda Petrovsky, most of the children in room 30 didn't have names like that. And the one more reason why the students were not like Vanda Petrovsky, because she had such a very different name. Because you know, American people have names like Smith, John, George, etc. And Vanda Petrovsky is such a very strange name. Most of the children in room 13 didn't have names like that. They had names easy to say like Thomas, Smith or Alan. There was one boy named Bounce, and before Vanda Petrovsky they were teasing to the boy whose name was Bounce, because Bounce, it was also a strange name for the American students. Willie Bounce, his name was Willie Bounce, that boy, and people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way that Petrovsky was. But this Willie Bounce was not funny just as the Vanda Petrovsky. It means Vanda's name was very strange and they were making fun on this name. Vanda didn't have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress that didn't hang right. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. She didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the worn hard ground. So in this stanza, we studied about that Vanda didn't have any friends. So due to this reason, she was coming to her school alone and she was returning from school alone. She always wore now she had only one dress. The color was blue. She wore a faded, and why the dress was faded? Because every day she cleaned her dress and every day she wore the same dress. So only that blue dress, faded blue dress that didn't hang right, and that dress was not fit for the Vanda Petrovsky. According to her body, that dress was not fit for herself. It was clean, but that dress was clean. But it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. But it was looking like that she never had ironed her dress. She didn't have any friends. Actually, she had not any friends. But then also many students were talking. Why they were talking? Because only they were making fun on Vanda Petrovsky. Some silly questions they were Vanda Petronsky. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls have play hopscotch on the worn hard ground. Sometimes she was watching when the other students were playing hopscotch game. This is the name of the game. It means a game in which children hop into and over squares marked on the ground. Vanda, Peggy would say in the most courteous manner as though she were talking to Miss Masood. Vanda, she would say, giving one of her friends a nudge. That means a gentle push. Simply when they were making fun on Vanda Petronsky, they were pushing one another. And how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? And they were asking the question that Vanda, can you tell me how many dresses you have in your closet? Closet means in almirah. 100. And how the Vanda was replying? Vanda is replying that 100 dresses. Good Vanda. Vanda was 100. It means, of course, this was just shocking for the girls. Even when they knew about it that she was coming in only one dress, she had only one dress, that was the faded blue dress. Then also she was telling like that I have 100 dresses. So 100, exclaimed all the little girls incredulously. Incredulous means unwillingly. Because how no one can believe on this that Vanda Petronsky had 100 dresses. If she had 100, then why she was coming only in one dress? And the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. And as she was replying that I have 100, and then when the little students or the children were playing hopscotch, they also, when they heard, they also stopped their game and started to listen. Yeah, 100, all lined up, said Vanda. Then her thin lips drew together in silence. Only she was speaking this much words, that yes, I have 100 and all lined up. Like that, yes, they all are in the properly arranged in my closet. What are they like? All silk, I bet, said Peggy. Then Peggy said to Mary that I know that all are of silk now. Yeah, then Vanda replied, yeah, all silk, all colors, velvet too. Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses. Vanda would repeat stolidly, all lined up in my closet. And again, without any other showing feeling, Vanda replied that yes, I have 100 dresses, all are lined up in my closet. Stolidly means not showing any feeling. When she was replying to the other student this answer, when she was giving, she was not showing any type of feeling because she was not interested to give the answer of such these funny and silly questions. Then they would let her go, and after that Vanda Petronsky leave that place. And then before she would gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. After that, they were pushing each other and they were laughing very loudly because everybody knows that Vanda Petronsky had only one dress, that is the blue, faded blue dress. 100 dresses. Obviously, the only dress Vanda had was the blue one she wore every day. So why did she say she had 100? What a story! How many shoes did you say you had? Then the next question they were asking to Vanda, that how many shoes you have? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Then Vanda Petronsky replied that I have 60 pairs and all lined up in my closet. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this. All alike? Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. Then when they were asking all are same, then she was replying, no, all are different. Different colors I have and all are lined up in my closet. Peggy, who had thought up this game and Mary, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. Finally, Vanda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now then in the funny walk she had, finishing the walk to school alone. And at last, Peggy and Mary, they came from the school at last, and till they were making the fun, till they could see the Vanda Petronsky. As Vanda Petronsky entered in her street, she felt relaxed, finishing the walk to school alone. Hitching means move upside. Peggy was not really question to her, then she was replying, "What a cruel! Because this is the right way. Why then Vanda Petrovsky is replying like that? I have 100 dresses." As we all know that she had only one faded blue dress, but then also she was saying to us like that 100 dresses. Anybody could tell that that was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she was not just an ordinary person. Else, why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. But they never made her cry because due to this Peggy and Maddie, Vanda Petrovsky never cried in her school. But if there is a question that why, if the Peggy was not cruel, then why she was making fun on Vanda, then the reason is because Vanda Petrovsky was replying that I have 100 dresses, and Peggy knew about it that Vanda Petrovsky has only one faded blue dress. This was the first reason, and the second, she had such a very strange name. As for Maddie, this business of asking Vanda every day how many dresses and how many heads and how many this and that, she had was bothering her. Maddie was poor herself. Even Maddie was poor. She also belongs to poor family, but not like Vanda Petrovsky. She usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes, and she was also wearing second-hand dresses, we can say. When Peggy's mother was giving her dress to Maddie's mother, and Maddie's mother was decorating by some ribbons and by these artificial things, and these dresses were new dresses for the Maddie. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Borgin's height or have a funny name, but only the reason she was saying like that, thank God I am not living in the Borgin's height, because she understood if she was also living in the Borgin's height, then maybe other children could have made fun on her also, but she was saying that thank God I am not living in Borgin's height. And the second reason, she had not such a strange name just like the Vanda Petrovsky. Sometimes when Peggy was asking Vanda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand. And she was, because she could not do anything when Peggy was asking such these questions to the Vanda. Actually, Maddie didn't like. She didn't like that anyone should ask these funny questions to the Vanda, because she could understand the feelings of the Vanda Petrovsky, because she also belongs to a poor family. She was not just like rich as the Peggy. Peggy was a very rich girl, but she could not say anything to the Peggy. Why? Because she was wearing the dresses of the Peggy, the second-handed dresses of the Peggy, in the palm of her hand, rolling them round and saying nothing herself, because she could not do anything, so she was doing like this only. Not that she felt sorry for Vanda, and she could not say sorry also to Vanda Petrovsky, because if she will say sorry to Vanda, maybe Peggy will not speak to her, maybe Peggy will stop, or she will break up her friendship with the Maddie. Not that she felt sorry for Vanda. Exactly, she would never have paid any attention to Vanda if Peggy had not invented the dresses game. But suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. She was not as poor as Vanda. Perhaps, but she was a poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Vanda Petrovsky. She wished that Peggy should not tease Vanda, but she knew about it also. If they will not make fun on Vanda, then maybe the next will be I. Maybe they can start to make fun on me, because I also belongs to a poor family. So she didn't say anything to Peggy and to the other student of room number 30. Today, even though they had been late to school, Maddie was glad she had not had to make fun of Vanda. She worked her arithmetic problems absent-mindedly. 8 times 8, let's see. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy's note, because she knew she never would have the courage to speak right out to Peggy, to say, hey Peg, let's stop asking Vanda how many dresses she has. When she finished her arithmetic, she did start a note to Peggy, and once she decided that because she had no courage in front of the Peggy, she could not speak anything, because she thought like that if I will say anything, maybe She got the dress that she had on, and Maddie would have to say it was one of the Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise with the new trimmings. So no one in room number 13 would recognize it. And actually she wore the dresses of the Peggy. Only the thing was that Maddie's mother was decorating by new trimmings, new ribbons. She was decorating the old dresses of Peggy by these new ribbons, and these dresses Maddie wore in her classroom. So now she became worried that maybe they can ask me questions like this, and if other will ask me, then Peggy would tell to all of us that this of the mine dress, my old dress. If only Peggy would decide of her own accord to stop having fun with Wanda. Oh well, Maddie ran her hand through her short blonde hair as though to push the uncomfortable thoughts away. What difference did it make? Slowly Maddie tore into bits the notes she had started. After that she tore the page on that she started to note to Peggy, because now she became worried that next target I can be. So slowly Maddie tore into bits the notes she had started. She was Peggy's best friend. The Peggy was the best liked girl in the whole room. Peggy could not possibly do anything that was really wrong, she thought. As for Wanda, she was just some girl who lived up on Boggy's height and stood alone in the schoolyard. She scarcely ever said anything to anybody. The only time she talked was in the schoolyard about her 100 dresses. Maddie remembered her telling about one of her dresses, pale blue with colored trimmings, and she remembered another that was a brilliant jungle green with a red sash. You would look like a Christmas tree in that, the girls had said in pretended admiration. So now the Maddie was thinking like that when she tore the page, and she decided that I will not say anything to the Peggy. Wanda, she was just some girl who lived up on Boggy's height and stood alone in the schoolyard. She scarcely ever said, and she knew about it that Wanda scarcely. It means that she was not speaking anything. Only when someone will ask questions to her, then she is giving reply that I have 100 dresses or whatever the question asked by the other student. She was only replying the answers. And she remembered another that was a brilliant jungle green, and she knew that Maddie knew about it that Wanda Petrovsky once she wore the green dress also, and when she came in green tea like a Christmas tree, the other girls had said in pretended admiration. And the other girls that day also they were telling to Wanda that you would look like a Christmas tree. Thinking about Wanda and her 100 dresses all lined up in the closet, Maddie began to wonder who was going to win the drawing and the coloring contest. And suddenly she started to think that who will be the winner of drawing contest, because recently in her school there was a drawing contest organized by the school, and the next day there was the result declaration of that drawing contest. So she started to think about it. For girls, this contest consisted of designing dresses, and for boys of designing motorboats. So for girls and boys, for the girls there was to design the designing dresses, and for the boys designing motorboats. Probably Peggy would win the girls matter, and she knew about it. Maddie knew about it that Peggy will win the girls drawing contest, because Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room. At least that's what everybody thought. She could copy a picture in the magazine or some film star's head so that you could almost tell who it was. Oh, Maddie was sure Peggy would win, and the Maddie was very sure about it that Peggy will win the drawing contest. Well, tomorrow the teacher was going to announce the winners. Then they would know. And after that she thought like that on next day Miss Missoon will announce the result of the drawing contest. The next day it was a drizzling. Drizzling means there was a light rain. Maddie and Peggy hurried to school under Peggy's umbrella. Maddie has no umbrella also, so she was coming with Peggy. Naturally, on a day like this, they didn't wait for Wanda Petrovsky on the corner of the Oliver Street. See, in MCQs there can be questions like that by one she told us about now, is not it beautiful? Yes, said Peggy. And here's that green one, boy. And I thought I could go. And after that, the Peggy replied that I think I could